What is going on, Ravens flock, and welcome back here again to another episode of the Ravens Way podcast. Um, had a little bit of technical difficulties in the first one. We'll ignore that 5 seconds of live stream. But as always, joining me is Voss. Voss, how we doing? How we feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. Rejuvenated after the bye week. Unfortunately, going to the game this week, taking my kids for their first ever live game, and we have probably the worst forecast that we've had. But we're gonna sludge through. Hope to bring home another victory, get that 10-win mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate that we are yet again in another Baltimore Ravens home game, rain game. Just seems to be always raining in Baltimore during Sunday 1 p.m. games. But it is what it is. Got to deal with the weather, go out there and take advantage of being the number one rushing offense in football. So,
Well said, well said. So yeah, I think we wanted to put a little bit of a bow around the bye week before we look ahead. We don't have a game to review from last week. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Ravens. They have quite a few. I think I counted it up. It was almost 10 starters, unrestricted free agents. And Eric has a lot of heavy lifting to do, a lot of decisions to make. Who's he going to pay? Who's he going to let walk? How's he going to manage the cap? How's he going to flesh out the depth chart at each respective position group? And we decided to put together a little countdown of our most wanted or what we recommend to players to re-sign, priority reacquisitions. And I'll kick it to you first, Yuri. Where's your head at?
it's tough. It's tough because, to your point, they have to be a little more stingent with the cap with a Lamar Jackson extension. And they just can't pay everybody. They can't just pay good players. I think the priority is to keep the great players and let the good ones kind of go. Um, And even with the great ones, you just can't pay them whatever they want. I think there's going to be a number to be had for those as well. So it's tough looking ahead at it, and I it's tough. It's just tough. I'm thinking about the names. You got Clowney, you got Matabike, you got Stone, you have Queen, you have Zeitler, you have Simpson, you have Odell Beckham, you have Aguilar, you have you have
G.
you have Mollett, yep. You have Van Noy. So there's
Michael Pierce.
yep. It's a lot.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot of snaps. That is a lot of snaps.
No doubt. So who's your number 5?
Queen.
Queen.
Okay. I can't even I guess the start from backwards first. I would probably go Queen. I would be like, I don't think that when it comes to it, you already paid a linebacker $15 million a year essentially for the first 3 years, and you already paid a second round pick to acquire that linebacker, and I just don't think that at the end of the day, paying another linebacker somewhere north of $10 million is a good idea, with a quarterback under contract and other needs at more important positions. It's tough. So
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, he's looking for 18 plus, according to his thumbs down on Twitter when someone put a contract proposal.
yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous to pay Patrick Queen. I made my top 5, and then there's a lot of guys, so I made like an honorable mention list. And for what it's worth, he's 12th out of the players that I'd most want to resign. It's just ridiculous. You can't. I don't even think you should pay one linebacker. Paying 2 would be preposterous to me. Honorable mention, I'll go Michael Pierce, Kyle Van Noy, Geno Stone, Arthur Mollett, John Simpson, and Gus Edwards. I have all 6 of those guys ahead of Queen. And my number 5 guy is Ronald Darby. I think he's performed very well this year. PFF graded number 36 cornerback in the league. So well in the range of starting caliber corner. And we've seen it time and again. 2014 is really the one year that really sticks out. You can never have enough corners. You really need 3 starting caliber perimeter corners every season to enter the season with, because one's probably going to go down. And So yeah, I think Ronald Darby could probably be had for a reasonable price. He has an injury history. Unfortunately, his alma mater got completely jobbed out of the college football playoff, but maybe that gives him a little bit extra juice to try to make it happen at the pro level.
Absolutely. It doesn't happen at the college football playoff level. Hopefully, he can help us.
Well,
Ride to
he
the.
did. He did win a natty. He did win a natty. I'll give him that.
He did. He did his time. He put his work in.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think I have another corner just slightly ahead of him on the list on my actual top. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably would. I was just thinking of like top 5, like general top 5. Like I wasn't going like super in depth into like the Derby area. But now that I think about it, I probably would push Queen out of the top 5 and slide in anybody else. I'd probably slide in Zeitler over Queen. But not Zeitler, honestly. I'll probably go chalk with you. I'll go Darby as well at number 5. Let me switch up my answer now that I think about it. But flipping here to my number 4, I am going to go with Arthur Mollett. That was going to be my my corner on there. He's not the biggest fan that special teams is important, but he's a very good special teams player. He's a very good player in the slot and the nickel. And with Marlon Humphrey kind of injured this year a little bit, he has stepped into that role very, very well in the nickel. And it allows a lot of versatility for Kyle Hamilton. And like to your point, more corners is a good thing. Always good to have more defensive backs on the field. And he's just a good football player. And I like keeping good football players that play cornerback and left tackle and edge and wide receiver. I think it's always a good strategy.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to bring him all that back. I wouldn't go too high on him because he's a slot only, it seems. I mean, we haven't seen him. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's taken a rep on the boundary or field side this season. Yeah, so he didn't quite make my top 5, but I would like to bring him back. Number 4 for me, probably polarizing player, polarizing personality, especially in the Ravens fan base, Odell Beckham Jr. He's having a very efficient season. His best yards per target since he was an All-Pro in 2015. His best yards yak per reception of his entire career. Only 2 drops. He's the highest graded, has the highest receiving grade of any Raven, even ahead of Zay Flowers this season. And he's unlimited. You know, it's efficiency, not volume. We will see over these next 4 or 5 games whether he can maintain that efficiency with more volume, potentially continuing to fill that Mark Andrews void. But to me, it goes beyond that. It goes to the leadership. It goes to the edge and the confidence that he brings to the offense as a whole. There's not a whole lot of wide receivers in the NFL who are going to get into a skirmish with Jeffrey Simmons after he jumps on Zay Flowers' ankles. That's something that I think the Ravens offense has been missing for the last several years, just having dogs, just having that leader. I think Beckham is bringing good vibes. He's really been the initiator of a lot of the good vibes, the good positive flow on the offensive side of the ball. So, it does depend how he fares down the rest of the season, and I wouldn't come anywhere close to $50 million again. But if you can get him for maybe half of that, I think it would be a good investment.
Those are very fair points. I think with me, Beckham's tough. He'd probably be my number 6 in the honorable mention. Just because I don't know if his body holds up over the next couple of weeks. I think that one I'd have to revisit over these next 5 to potentially 9 games, and see what kind of impact he made over that stretch. But to your point, he has really came on as of late, and we'll see. But flipping here to my number 3, I'm trying to count down here because I'm thinking, because I know who my 1 and 2 are, but my 3. I mean, I guess I could.
I'm surprised you haven't said Pierce. I know you have an affection for the big man.
Yeah, he's a good football player, but he was talking about retirement. He was talking about
He's
retirement
getting
earlier in
old.
the year. So
That's why he's not on my file, because he's getting old.
yeah, he may be flirting with retirement a little bit, but um, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Kyle Van Noy here. The Ravens have always they've always like had a problem with having deep edges, like super deep edges. They've always had good edges, but they never had a full litany of five really good football players. And with Tyus Bowser kind of not playing this year, and maybe Malik Cam gives you something. I don't know what the price tag for Van Noy is going to be, but if it was like sub 5 million or 5 million on the dot, I would be more than welcome to bring him back. I just think he's very productive, and he's another one of those guys kind of on the defense. The whole what you're talking about, the good vibes thing. He definitely does bring some good vibes,
Sure.
and he's a very productive player, and he also fills he fills a role. He fills a role, and he fills it very productively.
Yeah, that's a good choice. He's right up there near the top of my honorable mention. To your point earlier about keeping great players, not good players, he's more of a trailer than a tractor to me at this point in his career, but I'm not against it. I do think that my third player is more of a tractor. Jadeveon Clowney, having a great year. We went over it last week when I gave him my defensive MVP of the first, or the three-quarter poll. He's playing like a top 10 edge rusher this season by like pretty much everything. He's top 20 out of all edges in PFF. He's top 10 in ESPN's metrics. And, he would be higher on my list if it wasn't for the injury concerns, potentially the work ethic concerns about giving him a long-term deal and that sort of thing. But I would really like to keep him. And if he keeps up this pace, he's probably going to make 5 times as much next year as he made this year.
Definitely. He's actually he's my number 2 on the list is Jadeveon Clowney. I think he's just someone that I wanted in the offseason, someone that I was fortunate enough to get a little scoop on, and see him come to Baltimore was a great feeling. And talent matters. Being a high draft picked player, talented football player matters, and he's went out there, and the scheme has certainly implored him to go out there and make plays. And he's shown up every week. I think he's been probably our most consistent edge rusher to all those metrics points that you had. And he's a very good mentor for Odafe Oweh to be a game wrecker. And I think he does a lot of good things well. He seems like seems like the Ravens sometimes will get the best out of people, and they certainly have gotten the best out of him. And also a lot of these defensive retainments depend on Mike McDonald still being here or not. Because if the scheme changes, then a couple of other things change. We have a guest. Oh, Garnett. Here we go.
What's going on, G?
What's up, man? 1 second. Just turn on the light. I know it's a little dark in there. Was dark.
Looking good. Well, while he gets his pants on, I'm gonna go to my number 2, and I'm gonna go with Kevin Zeitler. Oh, hair's looking good. G.
Thank you. Where? I'm
gonna go with.
What is that?
Are you pouring a shot of tequila out of a pistol?
Alcohol container?
Yeah, I have a pistol. Guy that says, "Hey, I can get y'all one." That's like, "Hey, good Christmas present for both of y'all."
Yeah.
So basically, it's like a gun set that comes with like 4 shot glasses. Pretty badass.
Nice. What do you have in it? What kind of liquor did you put in there?
Just some tequila. Some. It's like a. Sorry with an L. No, it's something with a D. The Remo, something like that. It's like 70 top end. Pretty good.
Sounds good. So we're going through our UFA rankings of who we want to bring back, and we're up to my number 2. I'm going Kevin Zeitler. We're up at my number 2. Yuri, did you give your number 2?
Yeah,
you did.
I did my number 2 is Clowney.
So I'm going Kevin Zeitler, and he's getting old, and he plays offensive guard, which is soon. I've softened my stance a little bit on positional value when it comes to the trenches. Not running back and not linebacker, but I do think that pass protection is very important for Lamar. And he is PFF's second best pass protecting offensive guard this season, only behind Joe Thuney. So, again, to your point, Yuri, keep the great players, not the good players. If you have to go a little top heavy, we've seen that other teams can make that work.
Definitely a fair point. Unfortunately, Zeitler is not on my 5, and the reason why is because, and he has been very well in pass protection, but in terms of Monken's scheme, I think they need someone a little more athletic. And to your point, he's getting up there in age. I don't know if his athleticism. He's not like a Jason Kelsey super athlete. He's kind of more of like the middle tier athlete, good enough to do it, but not great enough to do it, if you know what I mean. So that's why I would feel comfortable moving off of him and trying to get a more athletic guard. Just because you can't, I don't know. The offensive line has a lot of work to do, so to say, if they really want to implore Monken's scheme of having athletic offensive linemen all around and everyone who can pass protect with 5. But I also think that Zeitler can do still multiple things. He can still do gap. He can still do zone. But it's just the age thing for me is he's up there, and it's not like he was a great athlete to begin with. So as he gets older, does he hold up to that? I think it's tough, but I still think he's certainly played very, very well this year, and is more than deserving of a contract.
Let's bring G into the conversation since you're kind of catching us midstream here. If you can only re-sign one impending free agent from the offense, G, your choices are Kevin Zeitler, Odell Beckham, Gus Edwards, or I guess Dobbins you could throw in there too.
John Simpson.
Or Simpson, or John Simpson.
Or
so you're losing. Or Aguilar. Yeah, okay. I don't think he's picking Aguilar.
No, we're good, dude. It obviously would be Zeitler, man. I think we've seen enough this year around the league how just bad O-line play across the board. And it's so, we were thinking like, okay, we got Saleh. Well, the media created the hype for Saleh, created, oh man, he got a full week of starting. So we thought that, oh my God, he's going to be the answer, right? Well, a lot of people thought. And then we get John Simpson, who ends up being the starter, and he's not really, he's like, I guess he's like the underground media darling, but he's not really good. But he'll have some good points or good moments, I should say.
He doesn't play that good, but he makes some highlights every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
He's average, but he makes highlights, and then they're counteracted with bad plays.
He's like almost damn near like a 200 batting average, but he hits home runs sometimes. Like it just happens, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it obviously hands down Zeitler, just due to the fact that we don't know what the future lies for our offensive line. We preach and praise, get Lamar a line, and then, you don't want to take away the second best piece of the line, behind Linderbaum. So it's really just hard, man. And the fact that I think this draft is, I sent you guys a doc invite for the Excel sheet that I already somewhat built up with the offensive line, and those guys are going to be flying off the board in the first 2 rounds. So, yeah man, it just is. I'd rather have him. You can replace Gus. I know people, oh man, Gus, I love Gus. But in all reality, like my boy up there always talk about, like, primo positions and all that. You can replace an undrafted running back, which is crazy, right? An undrafted running back.
They actually did, and he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry. So they did that pretty well.
It's crazy, right? Yeah, but it's like I said, but it's just so hard to find those replacements. It's like you want to almost be like in the Philadelphia situation where you have Cam Jurgens that was supposed to play center, but they're kicking him out somewhere else because you still got somebody good. It's hard to be in that situation, but I think Baltimore could be in that situation if they just line it up right.
Yeah. So I'm assuming your top guy is on defense, Yuri. Is that correct?
Yes.
So let's get G's number 1 defense guy, and then we'll both give our number 1. I think
hands down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
We already talked about this, Boss, last night a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Clowney should be the face. Easy money, man.
So Clowney was my number 3 just because he's getting a little older, and I'm not quite sure. I don't want to lock into a long-term contract with him necessarily. So Yuri, go ahead. Break the ice. Number 1.
Oh, Madubuike, but with the caveat to it. I wouldn't go north of 18.5 for him. I wouldn't go north than 18.5. I just think that sacks are a premium, especially from the interior, and he leads the league in interior sacks. But he's not Aaron Donald, and that's fine because Aaron Donald's one of one. He's not like consistently. It's tough. He's gotten a lot of production off of stunts. He's gotten a lot of production off of
cleanup.
Yeah, and he's gotten a lot of production off of hustle sacks. So I think there's a caveat to it, but I also think that the Ravens haven't had a 10-sack guy in, I guess, a while from the interior.
From the interior, I don't think they've ever. Did Trevor Pryce ever get 10? I think he might have got 9.
But did Nada not get anywhere near there?
No, he would top out at like 6, 5, 6 1 year. He get a lot of tackle for losses, but he wasn't touching 10 sacks.
Yeah,
they didn't pass as much back then either. So
yeah,
it's a little different. So my number 1 is also Madubuike. I think, to your point again, keep the great players, not the good players. You want a cornerstone player in every position group if you can find it, and interior pass rushers are at a premium because there is very short supply, and that's not changing anytime soon from what I can tell. This is not a great interior defensive tackle class. The last 3, 4, 5 haven't been, and but I'm a little lower than the contract than you. I would probably top out. I said 14 a couple weeks ago, and he's continued the train going. So I'd probably top out at like 16. Because, again, to your point, he's not a complete tractor, so to speak.
He's got 3 wheels, and he's got a wooden wheel on the other one.
Yeah, he's just not a take over the game without and take on a double team and split a double team. He needs a lot of his production is scheme dependent. So yeah. I think that's fair to say.
So I went to good old Google. So one season, Trevor Pryce had 13 in 2000.
Oh, that's right. 06. Yeah. That was a year. That was like people forget that, but that year they had the most sacks, the most takeaways, the best third down, the best in the red zone, the best scoring. I mean, they were just arguably better than 2000 defense. That was
easily.
That was Rex
down.
Yeah, Rex Ryan, organized chaos. That was a hell of a year. Should have done better. Kept Peyton Manning out of the end zone in the playoffs and still lost the game because it's out here.
Right.
But
field goals to death, basically field goal to death. That was crazy, man. Yeah. I think I ain't talked to nobody for like at least 4 hours when we lost. I just stayed to myself.
I remember where I was, and there were some fists thrown after that game. But anyway, let's transition here on to. Go ahead, G. You got it.
So Madubuike thing, I really think he's not even gonna be an option. I think we're either gonna I think we're gonna get a deal done on him fast. I think the Ravens understand. What's that? Yeah,
they might tag him. Yeah.
That's why I don't even put him, because I think they fully understand the situation at hand when it comes to finding that kind of guy. I know it's some mop up sacks and some hustle sacks like you guys got some excellent points on that. We really haven't seen that domination game other than the Kansas City game like 2 years ago, where he basically was like kicking ass, and taking names. But other than that, I think the best is yet to come for him. And I feel like if we want to see that same success, we got to keep Pierce or find someone on the equal ground with Pierce, because him and Travis Jones create a lot of leverage for Madubuike in so many different ways. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Definitely. You had that clip last week, Yuri. Wasn't that the Travis Jones set a pick?
Yeah, Travis Jones set a pick for Madubuike.
Yeah.
And he took on a double team. It wasn't just a pick; it was a double team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was beautiful. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting off season. But now let's turn our focus to in season and this Week 14 matchup versus the LA Rams, a team that traded away Jalen Ramsey, and we were guaranteed to be in the midst of a prolonged rebuild by all of the people that think that you have to be conservative. And now they're 6-6, and they won 3 straight. Any thoughts on that? First of all, just that dynamic. Does that kind of prove that this idea that teams are going to bottom out? Does it finally put that to bed? Because I feel like it should.
I already got my shovel back in my truck, man. I'm already started digging the grave for those suckers, man. Because it's amazing. I learned. All right, I know it's a little off topic, but it's the same topic. It's amazing what you guys know. You can find old archive like subjects or conversations in group chats, right?
Yeah.
So I've been doing. Anytime something brings up the point where 'cause I was ready to back you up 100%, boss. I was already scrolling up. Like, all right, found him. So it's just crazy how the fact that people look at their own GM and then be like, no, he can't, we can't rebuild as fast. But you're the same guy that says, I love this GM, he can literally conquer the world. So it's like both sides I don't get it. It's mind-boggling to me. But
I think some people take pride in the Ravens' conservatism. They virtue signal about it, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there. I think Eric DeCosta has seen the light.
One's conservatism. We are aggressive now. Come on.
That's what I'm trying to say. I was getting there. I think Eric DeCosta has seen the light. I just don't get how the Ravens, John Harbaugh, convinced a franchise that had maybe the most successful quick retool in 2002, going from all in 2001, getting banged up with injuries, rebuilding it in 2002, and then making the playoffs again in 2003. How John Harbaugh convinced everybody that staying the course and stability and not pushing was the best plan for so long. But thank God Eric DeCosta saw otherwise this last offseason.
Big fact.
Yeah, I just think, and that topic, what is, like, what's, why would you want to be 10-7, 9-8, 8-9? I guess they used to be 8-8, 9-7, right? I'm math. Yeah, 9-7 and then 10-6. Okay, there we go.
Here you go. You're good.
The records, man. I don't know what they had an extra game. Next thing you know, it'll be 18 games. But anyway, I mean, like, they went all in, and people act like there weren't the Crows. The Crows weren't calling for them. They weren't like, oh, they were going to be dead this year or the year following. And last year they weren't really, too exciting. Matthew Stafford was out, and your quarterback goes down, and you don't win games. It just happens. But now their quarterback's healthy, and they're out here. They're 6-6. Their offense is probably top 10. I feel like I can say that pretty comfortably in terms of explosiveness and in terms of pushing the ball downfield, running the football. They have a running back who's drafted in the 5th or 6th round. I can't remember. Kyron Williams.
5th. Yeah.
Just low costing moves that they've made, and they've hit on these late round draft picks that they've stockpiled over the past couple of years since their first round draft picks were allocated to the top end players. And now they're 6-6. I mean, what's the difference between them and then a team like who would you rather be, a team like the Rams or a team like the Lions, who are 9-4 now, and they just got embarrassed on hold up, I'm ranting. They got embarrassed. They got embarrassed on Thanksgiving at home in front of the whole country, and they drafted a linebacker and they drafted a running back. And meanwhile, the Rams are out here drafting running backs in the 5th round, and I don't even know who their linebacker is. I mean, it's just like, I don't know.
But the Lions give their fans something to be proud of. That I guess
one
pride.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. I'm not advising that. I think the Rams went too far with it, but they did get the payoff. My whole thing is, I've been trying to say this for a long time, this idea that if you get too aggressive, the bottom's going to fall out and you're going to win 2 games for the next 6 years. It doesn't happen in the NFL. So that's just, fear mongering that a lot of people had. But let's get into this game and on to Matthew Stafford. He's been hot lately. 35-point average lately, 7-1 TD to interception ratio. And Puka Nacua, apparently John Harbaugh, he was high up on John Harbaugh's board. I don't know if you guys saw that today. John Harbaugh's first draft hit in the last 15 years. He's playing well. The right side of the offensive line is very strong with Dotson and Havenstein. And Stafford's good at getting the ball out quick. Kyron Williams, as you said, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. McVay has shied away a little bit from the outside zone, went a little bit more gap this year, and it's playing pretty well. They're a pretty balanced offense. They really do. Pretty good set of receivers with obviously Cooper Kupp not having the best year, and they've kind of gotten Tutu Atwell to become kind of just that tertiary burner that every offense needs. I think it's going to be a really good chess match between McVay and Mike Macdonald, just a chalkboard battle. McVay is so good at putting those linebackers in conflict. I think he's going to attack Queen if they go zone heavy. But anyway, just let's get your thoughts on the Ravens defense against the Rams offense. How do you approach this game? What kind of game plan are you looking for?
Garnett, you want to top us off here?
Yeah, so just a reframe. So we're just talking about their offense winning our defense, correct? Okay, so for me, I think the best way to really just first thing first is really try to get as much pressure as you can without putting yourself in a blitz heavy system for Matthew Stafford. We all know Matthew Stafford. Like you just said, Boz, he's hot, right now. But at the same time, though, it's like the time that we played them, the Super Bowl run, and I remember I had an infamous tweet where I was like, Chuck Clark is going to catch an interception, and he's going to get shit. He had to that game. Lucky, right? Good call. But the only reason I made that call is because we know he takes chances. And I think this is the worst defense to take chances on due to the fact that our secondary is so damn good and we can make them pay for it, right? So I feel like I think Clowney and Van Noy, they're going to be the main solution to causing man. Obviously, Pierce up front, but we can just get a 4-man pressure flat out. I think we can set the tone. And I know we're talking about defense, but the offense has to do their part because I think that if they can do it and then the defense can stay in that rhythmatic, dark energy, as I call it, and just keep on causing chaos like that. Easy chaos, natural, boring chaos where they don't have to do all these stunts, bring more than 5 consistently. It's going to be a good day because Higbee is healthy, correct? Or is he still a little bit banged up, or is he good? So I think he's banged up, but yeah, like Kyle. We got Kyle still. Gino playing. When we do the big nickel, it's just I think we match up so damn well. And when the last time you guys felt like, okay, I'm worried about my number 2 corner getting picked on? This is like one of the years that I have like, dang, oh yeah, we got Brandon Stevens out there, we're good. Like, it's been that type of season for him. So shout out to him. But I feel like if we can just get a natural 4-man pressure and an offense can do their part, and we can come back and keep on repeating the formula. We know the Wonder Kid with the Wonder Kid, the Wonder Boy, whatever they're called. McVay now these days, he's gonna be able to draw some stuff up. But when you're coming from behind, man, you say 10 points down, you're just
in the rain,
you're getting there's limitations. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, game script's gonna definitely play a role, and if the Ravens can jump out early, it really plays into their hands. The other good thing is the secondary is pretty damn healthy at this point. Marlon Humphrey's ready to rock, he said. Marcus Williams ready to rock. Yuri, give us if you're Mike Macdonald, how do you devise a game plan for this matchup?
I would say that It's tough because it just all this disgusting rain. I would I would want my edges to get a little deeper on the outside, containing the edge on the wide zone stuff. Don't let them set up play action boot off of it. Don't fall for play action boot. Just I would my message to my edge defenders would be crash very hard on the quarterback. I don't care if they run the football. They want to run the football in the rain, that's fine that they're going to do that. I want them to crash on the quarterback every time. And and don't let them set up the play action because that's what they love doing. That's how most of the wide zone stuff is set up is the boots and the rollouts and all of that stuff. So that would be my message. And then my game plan is you have Kyle Hamilton, you have Mollett, you have Humphrey, you have all these players. You have Queen and Roquan over the middle. They have Cup, who's great over the middle of the field, good slot receivers. Limit explosive plays. Do not. I would say that you sit in that little the little too high quarters and just keep everything in front of you. And as long as you do that, it's gonna be wet, slippery. Punch the football out. Maybe we can get a fruit punch finally for the first time since like 2020 when that was the thing, basically. But yeah, I just think that as long as this game doesn't turn into a piss fest with the rain and we're just going back and forth on who can punt the farthest, I think our defense can really maybe even score here. I mean, the last touchdown they scored was Kyle Hamilton on that tip play to himself.
It's the only one. That's the only one they scored this year.
So, and to Garnett's point, I do remember that tweet, Garnett, the Chuck Clark interception tweet, and then he ended up having 2 of them. I do remember that very, very vividly. So
that's the only two pick game of his career.
Yeah, and I guess well, probably his only 2 picks he's ever had in his life. But
I mean, he could have had a lot.
He's got about 7.
Yeah, he dropped like 7 and ran to a goalpost on one of them. I don't know if y'all remember that shit. Halftime.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, Chuck Clark, man. Hey, he was. I enjoyed him, but he had his limitations. To me, this is a linebacker game. Roquan and Patrick Queen want to be claimed the best linebacker duo in the league. This is the game to prove it. You're going against, first of all, you got weather, you got wind, you got rain projected, forecasted. And second of all, this is what McVay does. McVay gets his slot receiver behind your linebacker for chunk plays. So you take that away and stop the run and earn it. So let's flip over to the other side of the ball. On defense, Rams have Aaron Donald, still playing at a very high level, and really not much else at all. They have Fuller, a safety on the back end. It's like a one-man band. They have the 27th most sacks. They're 21st in run run DVOA. Their cornerbacks are rough. Even your boy Durant, he's not having a good year. And 30th in takeaways, 19th on third downs, 14th in the red zone. That's just classic, typical bend, don't break. How do you advise this offense attacks this Rams UDFA no-name defense?
I don't say due to the probably most likely the inclement weather, man. I think get the ball in Likely's hand for just to start off, just to test them out, see what they can do in the mid game, because that would be very successful. And then after that, just be quick. I think my thing with us, we come out sometimes with an up-tempo type scale and look phenomenal. Like the first 15, it's like the one thing that carried over from a Greg Roman era to with Todd is the first 15 script plays are beautiful. They'll look nice, timing, everything. Then all of a sudden we go away from it. We go like we went away from Likely, like just people just disappeared out of for no reason, almost damn near. But I would definitely attack the middle, just to test our linebackers and, obviously get the wide receivers involved between like I'd say the 12-yard mark, maybe just a couple curl routes just to get the safeties to bite, to come up on it. And then hopefully that'll open up the middle for more attacks for like a Flowers or with more tight end play. Hopefully your boy Kolar gets in the game a little bit. I'm hoping, for dear sake for you. I know you losing your mind over there, bro. But yeah, it just basically just attack the middle of the field, man. And then hit a couple of surprise touchdowns. I know it's gonna be rain, but like you gotta keep. My biggest problem, we don't really give defenses like the honest look. We'll maybe throw one deep ball plus 25-yard ball a game, and then after that, they know what to look for. I don't know. We basically shoot ourselves in the wrong foot. But yeah, that would be my attack. Just do a couple deep shots when it comes available. Attack across the middle of the field. Make their linebackers pay for it, and then go from there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My thoughts before the game was, before I found out it was raining, was push the ball downfield and take a couple shots downfield. But even now in the rain, there's no promise that a game in the playoffs is going to be perfect weather either. So you may as well go out there and try it. And I mean, offensive line, mostly the interior, protect yourself against Aaron Donald. Do not let him blow up the game. Do not let him blow up the game because he will sometimes. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's Odell Beckham. I think it's Odell Beckham game. He's got sure hands in this weather. And I think getting him the ball very quickly, to Garnett's point, getting the ball out quick to him would be good. Getting some slants, some RPOs going, some little. I like a little post, little skinny post out of the slot. I think that'd be nice to go right over the linebackers, and establish the middle of the field again. I think that's something else I would be looking forward to from the pass offense. Establish the middle of the field. And then, of course, as always, protect the football. Do not fumble. You have Keith Mitchell, who has fortunately yet to fumble, and it is raining. And as far as I know, East Carolina, not a lot of rain going on down there. So, yeah, I just protect the football. And to Garnett's point, get the 6-7 tight end. Just one target. All we want is one target.
I'm with you. I'd like to see Kolar get a target. Apparently, the rain is supposed to hold off until maybe 2 o'clock, potentially. So maybe you come out slinging and get that positive game script going, and then you just go from there. But I think it's prediction time. Ravens are currently favored laying 7.5. The total is 39.5, which is mid-range. Scoring's been down this year. Let's do score predictions. We might as well put it all together. Score predictions and props and all that good jazz.
I'm not a betting man. I'll let you guys. I'll give you my money until you're not to lose it for me. But for me,
you stake us.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Like Teddy KGB.
I always think the state of North Carolina is like we don't even allow. Is that right? I don't know. You're a little bit from it. I don't think we allow you to gamble down here.
No, I don't think North Carolina is legal to gamble yet.
Yeah, they're weird, man. But for us, I think the score is going to be like real, like close. Like say we'll be like 17-10. We'll have 17, obviously, and I think we'll do like a last minute like touchdown right before like I'll say mid fourth quarter, and then we're just going to try to coast it out like usual. So I'll say 24-13. That's where I'm sitting. Well, 24 us.
Yeah, I was the score that popped in my head was 23-17 us. To your point, I think we probably go up like 17-3 at some point in the game, and then the Rams kind of claw back a little bit, and then the Ravens kind of kick 2 field goals there in the second half. It's raining, slot fest. If it wasn't raining, I think the Ravens could easily put up 30 points against the Rams defense, just based off of what we already talked about, that how it's just Aaron Donald and a bunch of guys. But unfortunately, in this game, with all the inclement weather, I think the Ravens and the Rams probably keep it close to both. I mean, the Rams offense is still good. The Rams offense can still score points. But I just don't think that the Rams have the defensive horses to stop us. But props and predictions for those, I am going to go with a Gus Edwards anytime touchdown. I feel like he's always in the rain. It's like every rain game. I'm trying to think back to other rain games we've had. And he's always had a good run or a good performance or good something. So I'll go with Gus Edwards anytime touchdown. Odell Beckham, 25 plus yards. I like that against his former team. They're probably minus 200 something. Unfortunately, did not get to look at the odds, but he hasn't. It's not like those odds are going to be crazy. And then the last one here. Voss, you are also on mute. Last parlay prediction here is I am going to follow it up with the Ravens defense. Anytime touchdown. I'm feeling it in the rain. It's sloppy. Money is to be made. It's off the bye week. Maybe Patrick Queen makes himself a little bit of money. Clowney, he still has some sack incentives to hit. Oweh, we didn't hear anything from him in the last game. Rashawn Slater kind of eliminated him pretty well. But it's raining. It's sloppy. I think someone maybe just falls in a loose ball and picks up and go.
I like it. So I think a lot of the trends favor the Ravens here. Obviously, they're well rested off the bye. They have a special teams advantage, a pronounced special teams advantage. Rams are trying out kickers midweek this week. You got the 1 o'clock kick for a West Coast team factor in your favor. The Ravens have a better roster. Lamar is 18-1 in his career against the NFC. We know that he absolutely demolished the Rams during 2019. I would argue that Monday night game on the road was the most dominant performance they had all season. Just completely destroyed them. But with the rain and the wind and McVay and all that stuff, I'm going to predict 26-16 Ravens. We're all pretty close there in that low 20s, mid-teens range. As far as props, I like the OBJ revenge, trying to get him the ball narrative. So for the first touchdown, if he scores the first touchdown of the game, it's plus 1,200. So give that one a little sprinkle potentially. I do like Oweh to beat up on that left side of the line. He should be lining up against that. And he's plus 130 if he gets a half a sack. And then I think this is a Keaton Mitchell game. I'm going to stake my week pretty much to that. He finally took over the workhorse role last game. You can get Keaton Mitchell anytime touchdown, over 44.5 yards, and the Ravens money line, so they don't even have to cover the spread. Just win the game at plus 330. So I do like, he could do that in one play and check off all three of those boxes. So that's what I'm leaning with this game. Oh, one more. Kyle Hamilton over 5.5 tackles plus assisted tackles combined. And we got to assume McVay is going to be attacking the portion of the field that he covers. That's plus 114. So I like that one as well. But let's move on to this scintillating Thursday night matchup with a expected point total of a whopping 30 points between the Patriots and the Steelers, the Squealers. Any thoughts? Because we're leaving out of that game. This game's going to kick off in a couple minutes.
I'm probably gonna go take a shower and go to bed. I might just read a book. It's hard. I don't know, man. It's just, but for real, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go, man. You got literally, Trubisky versus is Mac Jones playing? No.
Nah, I think it's Zappy.
Zappy. So battle of the backups, basically.
Battle of the bastards. Is what it really is.
Yeah, for real, man. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be weird, man. I guess it's just gonna be run the ball. Like it is, play action, dump off. Like this is ugly, man. I was just watching something of a documentary of Bill Belichick, and it's just crazy how all has transpired for the past 3.5 years. In all honesty, I don't know how to feel about this game. Hey, go Tar Heels, I guess, right?
That's right. Hey, go Tar Heels.
Right?
Yeah. Even though he's a disgrace, he is a disgrace. But I like. I think the Steelers are going to win this. But in terms of props and predictions, I like the New England special teams to score the first touchdown plus 8,800. I put $1 on that because why not? And then I like Tyquan Thornton.
We'll put that in before it kicks.
Tyquan Thornton. Before they announced that there was 3 receivers playing, I had Tyquan Thornton over 11.5 receiving yards. Don't know if that line's moved by now. It probably has, but that was almost even money. And then I like Najee Harris to score a touchdown. I think that's I had Jalen Warren a week ago to score a touchdown, and Najee Harris always comes in on the goal line and just vultures a touchdown. So those are those are the props that I'm comfortable with. And I guess for a score prediction, this is such a piss fest. I'll go with Steelers. Can Patriots even score? I'll go with Steelers 16, Patriots 10.
Vegas is feeling that defensive touchdown potential. Both Kyle Duggar and Cam Hayward. And I'm sorry, that's Connor Hayward. But Duggar's on the list of who could score touchdowns, so that's kind of funny. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to win, New England to cover, and Jalen Warren, the best running back on the field, regardless of draft pedigree, to I guess be the MVP. So figure out a way to leverage that into some winnings. Around the league, who are we looking at? Upsets. Really, our upset of the week is the segment we've been doing, Yuri. Hopefully G's got some bangers over there.
All right, so for me, what I'm gonna say this I think was gonna be very which is crazy. I take the Bengals over the Colts. That's me. And I think I guess the over is 44. Am I looking at that right? Or negative 1.5? Or whatever? I don't know if I'm looking at this right. I'm not a betting. I'm sorry. But anyway, I take the Bengals over the Colts. I need them to drop. I think what's going to end up happening, I think it's the Linsanity. You know how basketball had the Linsanity going on? Well,
Yeah.
it's the Brown sanity, the Browning sanity going on, I call it. Browning mayhem, or however you want to call that shit. I think they're going to just keep on knocking off teams that we're going to need to lose. If they can just keep on protecting that kid like they are, which, I mean, Colts defense is pretty damn good. That's what really keeps keeping them alive. But I don't think they can match up against T. Higgins and Chase. So if they can just drop them one more time, I would feel comfortable because obviously they beat us. God forbid we drop a game or two down the stretch. And then another one for me as well that I saw that was very interesting is, I don't know, for you betting degenerates out there, I would take Seattle over 49ers. That's just me. I know. Hey, Boz, what is negative?
10.5.
Yeah, 10.5.
10.5.
Yeah.
So that means if Seattle keeps it within 10, that's a winning bet. Anything under 11. Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that's a good play. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that one. I definitely agree with you on that. Since he won, so Indy's won 4 in a row, and I was looking at potentially having Indy as my upset because they are catching a point. I do kind of feel like that Monday night game might have been Cincinnati's Super Bowl, but I'm going to stay away from that one. Another one I was looking at is Philly plus 3.5 at Dallas. Evenly matched teams. I think Philly might even be a little bit more talented. They're still kind of working out some kinks on defense, especially on third down. That's been an issue for them. And Philly burned me last week, so I'm going to stay away from them. So I am going to take the Denver Broncos plus 2.5 at the Los Angeles Chargers. I just think the coaching advantage, Peyton versus Staley, is going to prove the difference. So that'll be my upset of the week. Give me Denver, Yuri.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was looking at. Especially just the Chargers team just seems to be falling apart as the weeks go on, scoring 6 points against New England. That was awful. We'll get to it at the end. I am on a hot streak on the upsets of the week. I think I'm 3 in a row now. I have 2 Packers upsets in a row, and then probably one before then. Probably some kind of Chargers win. But
isn't there? Didn't we have some kind of wager with you picking the Packers and Jordan Love?
We did, and we'll get to that in a second. Let me get my upset of the weekend. But the Broncos was an interesting one, and then I was also looking at, and this is disgusting. I was looking at the Jets over the Texans, just because like I just feel like the Jets defense matches up so well against Nico Collins and maybe Zach
Dell's
Wilson
out.
can just pull one out. But Zach Wilson is back. He's like Achilles. He's back. They begged for him. He planted the spear in the ground. Now he's ready to go. But the one I am gonna go with, the one I'm most confident in, is I'm gonna take the Bears at home over the Lions. And Justin Fields' last ditch effort to sacrifice himself and run wild over the Lions defense, which is if I remember correctly, the Lions defense is like 29th in EPA and 30th in yards per play. So they're god awful. And I just think that maybe Justin Fields kind of is like, well, my job's on the line. I got to make a performance, go out there and make something happen. And, that Vikings game was not the greatest game from him, but he's got to make something happen if he wants to keep playing in the NFL.
Well, Detroit just lost McNeil, their second best defensive player.
Yeah,
and
Roshan Johnson.
That's a funny looking line. It really is. I thought Lions would be favored by more. So you're picking up what Vegas is putting down potentially, Yuri, with that one.
Yeah, +3 for the Bears. So
I thought that would be like a 6.5, 7. Going into this week.
The Lions are fake. They're fake, man. They're fucking fake.
Fugazi.
Fugazi, synthetic.
I'm telling you, they let the Packers douse them. I hope the Lions. I mean, not because we all three of us had the prediction show, and I had the Packers winning the division, and here they come storming back. So I'm
pretty sure all three of us had the Packers. All three of us had the Packers there. I'm pretty sure.
I might have been a Dan Campbell maniac.
Nah, we talked you out of it.
Oh yeah, you did. You did. Thank God. All right, we're good. I saved my ass. All right, we're good.
So what else we got, Yuri? What else we got?
Well,
oh, man, jump on Seattle, baby. Come on, it's there.
No. I'm trying to think of. There was a couple other. Oh man.
I mean, I can go through some of them for you because I wrote some of them down for myself. But
the thing that me and Boss talking about is we made a bet. I made a bet with myself.
We're ready for a performance.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my vocals are gonna have to be used here as I sing this this song here, and this goes out to Jordan Love. I may buy his jersey after this. I think I might have to buy his jersey for Christmas. I was literally gonna put a Jordan Love jersey as one of my gifts. I'm gonna be like, just buy me a Jordan Love jersey. I really am enthralled with him. I think he's got the goods to me. He's got the goods. He's got the arm talent. But I made a bet, Garnett, to put context here. I made a bet that I picked the Packers last week to win over the Chiefs on our Thursday show. It wasn't like in the middle of the game. And so I followed up during the middle of the game, and I said, if the Packers come through with this bet, I will sing "You've Lost That Loving Feeling," at least the first minute of it, like the first like a couple of lines. This is hell. This is my hell. Yeah. But anyway,
you know what? I'm gonna help you out, bro. I'm gonna put on backgrounds, and you can go off of that. At least if you can, get so you don't go flat, or unless you really want to go a cappella.
Background, what, like a beat or what?
Like the real song.
Okay, well, as long as we don't get copyrighted.
I mean, if we wait 30 more, I heard that once you go to an hour, they don't listen.
They don't listen.
We're at a solid hour. We're good.
Oh, when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You've lost that loving feeling. Whoa, that loving feeling. You've lost that loving feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on. I don't care.
That was good, Yuri. I didn't think you were. I thought it was going to be worse. You're a better singer than I predicted.
You sounded like a dude that's been deaf or been deaf for over 20 years, discovering his voice.
Oh, my face hurts from laughing right now.
Good shit.
Look, it took me a second. I had to get in the rhythm.
Gotcha.
I was figuring out my voice. I was doing it earlier in the car. Funny enough, I was like, "Oh God, I gotta sing this." So I started playing it in the car. I'm like, "All right, here we go."
Hey, those Cardinals, man, I'm telling you, they make you feel like you can sing, and then you get on that camera or on a mic. It's a whole different realm, man. A whole different realm.
No, that like winning football games in the postseason. It's a whole different level.
Oh, completely, right? Oh, wait, superstars matter? What? That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, so I think that about does it. You got any quick roundtable questions like we did last week, Yuri? Or G? I think we all agreed. I know at least G and I agreed. The one team we don't want to match up against in the postseason is Miami. I know we talked about that. Yeah.
Because I think the biggest thing for me, I don't know, it was like a group question going off from Ravens Twitterverse right now, or whatever for me, is really just the involvement of like. Here's my question: how involved do you guys think John is in part of the play calling? Like when it comes to like Monken being able to just run his thing.
He had a sheet. He had a play call sheet on the sideline, and we pointed out last week. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know. Why does he have a sheet? Why the fuck does he have a sheet? Why does he have a play call sheet like that? I don't know. That was weird. And then to follow it up, DaCosta was like on the sideline.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They talked to him like, what is going on?
DaCosta's calling plays over here. You know, I don't know what's going on. There we go. Arya's got the appreciation for Yuri's voice.
Thank you. Look.
I'm not sure I agree.
This first couple of lines, I'm like, okay, well, Voss came out of left field with playing the actual song, and I'm like, well,
I'm just trying to help my partner out.
I was just thinking of all dogging it off the beginning and just going.
I mean, oh Jesus, but yeah, that's my whole thing, man. Like, I know back, when Greg Roman was at helm, we always would say, oh, he has 100%. I think that's what John does. He just lets his guys run the show. But it just seems like with Monken, it's like the excuse. Like people I would say excuse, but people are saying, well, we can tell it's a John Harbaugh type of game because we're playing super conservative, or we're not calling certain plays, or we're not being more aggressive. Just like it's like, is it really, or is it just we don't really know Monken just yet? It's a
he's not a hardball guy. He's not a hardball guy.
Exactly.
He micromanages guys. Anyway, I don't want to, I like John Harbaugh. He's a damn good coach, but he's been around here for a long time. And there's definitely, he does some things well, and there's some positives and there's some negatives to him as well. Let's wrap on this. How many more seasons is John Harbaugh the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens?
One.
5 games.
Oh,
go ahead, Yuri.
5 games.
5 more? 5 games?
Well, 5 regular season games.
Okay. I think there's a path where he could go out on top and retire. I think there's also a path where they said, "Hey, we gave you everything. We went void years. We deferred. We gave you all the players, and he still couldn't get it done." And that could be it. I just don't think he resonates with the players anymore. You watch that the locker room clip where he gives out that lion spear, and they're all like, "What are you doing, old man? I'm not feeling it." So I would say I think he gets. I mean, obviously, I think he probably gets one more if they don't get a chip this year. I would say that.
He's gonna be basically I called him like the Tony Dungy. He's the Tony Dungy of the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good comp.
It's over. Like you got all the pieces at helm, and how we're gonna look at you. I think how Rashad is gonna look at him. It's like, dude, you done everything you could. We've rolled this ship long enough.
Well, because McDonald, that's the thing is if they're going to turn it over to McDonald, now they don't want to let McDonald out the door if he's the successor,
Right. Well, also, I'm not trying. I know you guys trying to get off, but what do you think McDonald was like that Dan Quinn type of guy? Where he can probably be a good head coach, but he's a better coordinator than the head coach.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like maybe he's even a better version, but kind of like Brandon Staley. Some of these guys are really good schemers and play callers, but they're not necessarily good administrators. I don't know if he is or not, but
I think
something to consider at least.
I think he resonates with the players. From what I've seen, I think he does. He has that. To your point, he does have that clean cut Brandon Staley kind of look to him, like he's just clean cut, quote unquote whiz kid. But on the same sense, I do think he has that little edge to him. You see him and Marcus Peters last year during that one clip where they're he's like, "I love you, MP," and I think that resonates.
All right, we'll see.
Anyway, they're in good hands, but I think it is. We are kind of coming to that. I mean, what's he been a head coach for 14, 15, 16 years or something like that? It's been a long time. He's like in the top 20 in history of the football, and you got to get some playoff wins if you want to keep that going. In my humble opinion.
Exactly, man. Like how I think a lot of us as true Baltimore Ravens fans, we almost subtract literally from 2008 to 2012 to see what you really are. You know what I mean? It's just keeping it real. I know a lot of square. Excuse me, I was about to say something crazy. I know a lot of fans think a certain way about John. The leader of men trait and all that stuff, but we all knew who built the house before he stepped in. So yeah, but I love you, John. I love you.
Great guy. Stand-up guy for sure.
Yeah, but
get us out of here.
Yeah. Anyways, Garnett, appreciate you for joining us halfway or a couple quarter way through. Glad to have you on as always. And we look forward to this Sunday. Looking forward to the Piss game, the Ravens rain game, and yeah, we will see you guys next Thursday. Peace.